Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and we've got some big updates for the general car economy, is what we will call it. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you're going to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And some of the information in today's video comes from Cox Automotive. Let's get into it. So normally we focus on just the car side of things when we talk about market stuff because this is a car channel. But we are going to bring in the broader economy to today's video because I think it's really important for what's happening within the car market. So the first thing is real GDP. In quarter one of 2024, it increased by 1.6%. Now at the same time, durable goods, which cars are under the durable goods category, declined by 1.2%. So the broader economy is increasing in size, whereas the car economy, the durable goods economy, is decreasing. And so a lot of economists are saying that the economy is, quote unquote, fine, but durable goods are currently in a recession. Now, I want to basically decide at the end of this video if the car economy is truly in a recession, but let's talk about why it might be in a recession. First is interest rates. So most people that buy a new car, 80+%, are going to finance it. And about 50% are going to finance a used car purchase. So most people that are buying a car are going to use financing. And finance rates are still really high. The average new car rate is almost 10%. Used cars are around 14%. So although car prices, if you look at the graph of car prices on the used car market and the new car market have drastically declined since the peak, the payments on these vehicles haven't declined by all that much. They have gone down a little bit, but the affordability hasn't increased by that much because it seems like every single time car prices go down, the interest rates go up. And so it's like, you can't win. You can't win if you're financing the vehicle. Now, we've talked about how the Federal Reserve plans on probably lowering interest rates sometime this year. And what the experts are now saying is they might only do one rate decrease this year. That's it. From, earlier this year when we thought they were going to do 3+. So it's a very interesting change. And the reason why the Fed is only going to do potentially one rate decrease is that they want 2% inflation. Right now, inflation's 2.5%, 3% roughly. They want 2%. They say that we're not down enough when it comes to overall inflation. And so what this means is that the hits that the durable goods market, aka the car market as well, are taking are going to continue to happen as this year progresses until the Fed softens their policy. And again, not my words, the words of some economists. What they're saying is that this is like a warning sign. Like this is what's going to happen to the broader economy because the Fed continues to not loosen anything whatsoever financially. So a lot of people think that, yep, durable goods right now, but soon we're going to see deflation with potentially food and some general transportation costs like gas and all of that. We might see deflation with those items and then a deflation of the overall economy if the Federal Reserve waits too long to decrease rates and to make money a little bit more affordable. Now I want to quickly transition into what I see anecdotally. So anecdotally, when I go out to dealers and talk to a bunch of different dealers, what I'm seeing is that most dealers are selling about the same amount of cars as what they always sell. Some are selling a little bit more, some are selling a little bit less, but most of them are right around where they normally are. However, the big difference from a few years ago, even prior to the pandemic to today, is the amount of work that dealers are having to put in to put together car deals when it comes to getting people approved on the finance side of things. And then also, getting people to buy cars is a lot. The discounts that dealers are having to put out to convince people to buy is massive. So profitability on the sales side of things with dealers is probably the weakest that it has been in a long time, and potentially, like for some dealers, it's the weakest it's been since the last actual recession that we had. Well, I shouldn't say the last actual recession because we technically had one during the pandemic, but the great housing crisis recession, right? 08, 09, all of that. It's bad. It's bad on the sales side of things. But to call this a car market recession, I'm not sure at this point, because dealerships are still doing really well on the service side of things. Service departments are still making a ton of money. There's still a lot of people having to service their cars. Again, those same people that aren't buying new cars because they feel like prices are too high are the same people that are going into the service department and paying extra money to keep their cars on the road. And so dealerships overall, although not in a position that they necessarily want to be, because dealerships always want to sell more cars and make more money, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're in a recession. Now, automakers, on the other hand, I would say that automakers as a whole are in a recession at this point, because every single month they have to release rebates, and a lot of automakers have to continue to increase those rebates, those discounts. They have to release subvented rates. And so the actual manufacturers that are producing these cars, I would say that part of things is in a recession at this point, because dealer inventory just keeps building up and the manufacturers are continuing to have to narrow their profit margins on their product to convince customers to buy their product. And so I would say that that's probably the best way of looking at today's market is dealerships on the sales department side of things, recession, yes. Service department, no. And the service department almost always, there are some dealerships where their sales department makes more than their service, but as an average, the service department makes the most amount of money. So if the service department's not in a recession, the dealership itself is not really in a recession as a whole business entity. The manufacturers, yes, they're in a recession. Not as many people are buying their product. Again, we're 2 years in a row now with what I would call recovered manufacturing for the most part, where the auto market's going to be smaller, not because automakers can't build enough cars, but because there's not enough customers to buy those cars. Until we get into that 17 plus million unit range, and maybe even higher, because again, the population here in the US is only increasing as time goes on, so there's only more people that need cars. So unless that number gets up to that range again, I think it's safe to say that, the car market, right, put in quotations, is in a recession. Let me know what you guys think about this situation. Let me know what you think is going to happen moving forward. And I think that consumer sentiment is going to be very important moving forward, because if people think that now is not a great time to buy a car, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, you have a big enough group of people not buy cars, it forces the automakers to release bigger discounts to bring people back in, or they just have to choose to build fewer cars. See ya.